I am pleased to confirm to this House a 9.2 billion investment in education as a consequence of Budget 2022. An investment which is a hugely significant one, but one that I would say is both richly appropriate and indeed richly deserved by the education sector. From my own experience as a teacher, I know of the transformative power of education. The power of education to facilitate every child and young person, not just to reach their full potential, but indeed to go beyond that. The power of education to transform families and indeed to transform communities. The investment of 9.2 billion allows us in education to have a significant breadth of ambition for education, which means we can advance a number of key initiatives. Amongst those key initiatives are the DESH programme, delivering equality of opportunity in our schools. 18 million euro will be invested in the coming year, increasing to 32 million euro in 2023, which will ensure the DESH model is significantly expanded to bring in the most deserving of schools into the DESH programme, the most significantly disadvantaged schools into the DESH programme. In terms of special education, we have an ambitious programme of 980 special education teachers and 1,165 additional SNAs coming on stream next year. This brings the total of SNAs to over 19,000, the single biggest figure ever, and indeed the single biggest investment ever in special education, now being at over 2 billion euro, more than 20% of the entire budget of the Department of Education, and indeed rightly so. In terms of the pupil-teacher ratio, there will be a 1-point reduction in the pupil-teacher ratio from 25:1 to 24:1. This in turn will result in an additional 350 new teaching posts being made available to our schools. In terms of the school building programme, we are looking at an investment of 792 million, delivering more than 200 school building projects next year. Summer works, there will be an additional 30 million made available, bringing the total investment to 65 million for the 2022 scheme for the Summer Works programme. A programme, to be fair, which is used so expertly and judiciously within our school communities, and a programme that is worth that further investment of 30 million. In terms of school transport, an additional 30 million also for the school transport scheme, bringing the total investment to 270 million for the year ahead. This significantly supports more than 114,000 students going forward in terms of the school transport scheme. In terms of ICT, the House would be aware that we have had a significant investment in ICT in this past year, indeed over 100 million being made available to our schools. In addition to that, before year closes, an additional 50 million will be made available. So in total, between last year and this, we're looking at an investment of 150 million in terms of ICT. I'm pleased also to confirm to the House that I've secured on a permanent footing at least one-day release for teaching principals. That's a significant move forward for teaching principals and an acknowledgement of the workload of teaching principals. Equally so in terms of teaching principals in special schools or teaching principals that have 2 special education classes, they will now become administrative principals. I'd also like to draw your attention to a new initiative worth 20 million euro in terms of a reading book initiative. This investment of 20 million euro will facilitate the purchase in schools of reading books, audio books, braille books, picture books, whatever is deemed appropriate by the school body themselves. And it has its intention to promote the joy of words, the joy of language, the beauty of literature, and inculcate in our students that particular appreciation of the written word, and also to foster amongst our students the ability to become the next generation of writers and creative in the world of literature. As a Member of Government, I would like to take the last few minutes just to welcome the overall budgetary package of 86.6 billion, bringing security and stability to the country after such a long period of COVID challenges. The investment allows us to forward think, to be proactive in our action, but it's only as a consequence, I would concede, as a result of our very successful vaccination programme, which has been bought into by all of society. And so we're...
just clarify, are you sharing with Mr. Madigan?
I am, and I'm just about to finish for 3 minutes for Mr. Madigan, yeah. And so just to conclude on it, we are now in a position in terms of whole of government to think beyond a time of COVID and certainly to plan for beyond a time of COVID. So I particularly welcome measures including investment in the childcare sector, social welfare, health and housing, initiatives which will impact positively not just in my own county of Kerry, but other initiatives also which will support the entire country, and measures like aviation supports for regional airports, the continuation of the wage subsidy scheme until 2022, a targeted rates waiver in quarter 4 for 2021 for businesses not yet fully open. A broad ambition as we make our way forward out of COVID. Gur magat Cathaoirleach.